Tuberville, widely regarded as one of the top coaches and recruiters in the collegiate game, comes to Cincinnati after 3 years at Texas Tech. In 3 seasons in Lubbock, Tuberville led the Red Raiders to a 2017 mark and a pair of bowl appearances. In 17 seasons as a head coach, he holds a 130-77 career record with head coaching stops at Texas Tech, Auburn, and Ole Miss. In 2004, after leading Auburn to a 13-0 record and a Southeastern Conference championship, he was named AFCA, Associated Press, Paul Bear Bryant, FCA, SEC, and Walter Camp Coach of the Year. Before becoming a head coach, he was an assistant at Miami, Florida for 8 seasons. During that span, the Hurricanes won 3 national championships, posted an 87-9 record, and played in 9 consecutive New Year's Day Bowls. Tuberville is married to the former Suzanne Fetty of Guilford, Indiana. They are the parents of 2 sons, Thomas Tucker and Troy Allen. We'd like to thank the sponsors of the program today: CenturyLink, AEP-I&M, Sycamore Glass, Aurora Utilities, RAMC, Duke Energy, Lawrenceburg Utilities, IMPA, and thank you to the following businesses for their support of local schools and their attendance today. U.S. Bank for Lawrenceburg High School, welcome. UCB for East Central High School, Franklin County High School, Franklin County Bank, UCB for Milan High School, Aurora Utilities for Switzerland High School, UCB for South Dearborn High School, DeVille Pharmacies for Rising Sun High School, and with no further ado, we welcome Coach Tommy Tuberville and look forward to his comments.
Thank you, Kathy, very much. It's good to be here. I know these guys are fired up to get out of school. I'm a little disappointed, though. My son, Troy, now goes to school in Lawrenceburg and plays receiver, and he's not here. That doesn't surprise me much. He'd rather be in class. That's how stubborn he is, and listen to me talk. So, but it's good to be here. It's been a fun 3 months for me. You know, riding into town, I feel like I'm home. I'm actually going to be a resident of Dearborn County over Hidden Valley here in a few weeks. Moving in, I think April 16th or 17th. Excited about that. Excited about being part of the community, going to high school football games. Even though I am a coach, I am a father and try to do as much of that stuff as I possibly can. I've got an older son, Tucker, who is a quarterback for me at University of Cincinnati. So a lot of you will see him over the years too, hopefully. But it is good to be part of this community. I feel kind of second rate, though. I'll have to tell you this. Driving into town, and for the last 3.5 years, my next door neighbor down the street is Bob Knight at Texas Tech. And I see his picture up on the billboard riding into town. Bob Knight speaking. He's a piece of work. But actually he has been a neighbor of mine for the last 3.5 years. You know, he coached at Texas Tech. His son, Pat, was the head coach at Texas Tech when I got there, and Coach Knight is still a resident of Lubbock. Also lives in Montana, loves to hunt and fish. Went down to his house one night when I first got to Lubbock, and he invited me down there, so I go down there, and here's some shotgun going off in the backyard. Now, we're in a neighborhood. Coach Knight's back there shooting doves out of his backyard. So I knew I was in the right place. But it's good to be here today. We practiced this morning at 7:30. We was on the practice field for about 3 hours in our beautiful weather, spring weather we've been having. And I've still got a cold from practicing outside. But we're in the middle of spring. Actually, we're at the end of spring practice. And we're getting closer to the end. We have our spring game this Saturday. You're invited to come over. I think it's around 10:30 on campus. Spring games are kind of like watching paint dry, though. You know, you don't get a lot of fun out of it. You know, and as a head coach, you go out there and you hope somebody does good on one side. And if somebody does good, that means somebody's doing bad on the other side. So you get kind of disappointed as a head coach going through spring practice. But It's been an interesting 3 months of moving from Lubbock, Texas, where the only thing that's out there to block the wind, which blows 40 to 50 miles an hour a day, the only thing you have to block the wind is barbed wire fence and flagpoles. You have no trees. And so it's great to be here now where we've got trees and hills and a little bit of scenery and environment. My wife, Suzanne, just tell you a little story about my wife. Stayed single almost all my life. 1989, I'm coaching defensive coordinator at the University of Miami. We're playing Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. We go out the first night, just kind of walk around, because when you go to bowl games, you're there for a week. We go into this establishment called Pat O'Brien's, where they have these dueling pianos. I didn't know much about that. I'm from Arkansas, so we go in there and sit down. There's a table full of girls in there, ladies, that they're on a convention. I get to talk to this one girl, talk to her for about 30 minutes. What are you doing here? She said, we're going on a convention. We're working out in Boise, Idaho at the time. Worked for Newhouse newspapers. I said, really? She said, what are you doing here? I said, well, we're here for the Sugar Bowl. She said, what's that? I said, well, it's a college football game. Well, I gave her my business card. Talked to her for about 30, 40 minutes. We go our separate ways. She called me 8 months later. We started dating and married 2 years after that. So I gave away one too many business cards. But I was visiting over a while ago at our table, and I guess the reason that we were kind of attracted to each other, she knew nothing about football. And when you coach in the SEC and coaching major college football as long as I have now for about 35 years as an assistant head coach, you become kind of beat down by the media, by fans in terms of what's going on. So you kind of enjoy being around somebody that knows nothing about what you do. But I'll tell you this, Suzanne and I have been married around 20 years now. And after sitting in the stands at all the college football games that I've coached in, sitting with all the fans and all the experts, she has herself become an expert of college football. So she knows everything that goes on. But Suzanne graduated at Guilford, went to East Central High School, and I've spent a lot of time up in this area for the last 20 years visiting relatives and friends, and I feel like like I said, feel like I'm at home. It's not an unusual place for me. So excited about being part of the community, and one of the reasons I'm here today is invite you over to be part of what we're doing at the University of Cincinnati. We're a team that's growing. It's probably one of the most interesting stories in college football that I've watched from the outside in over the last few years, of a team that was really not a team, not a very good team over the years. And my understanding is Brian Kelly came here a few years ago and spoke to this same group. And Brian kind of got it started. He and Rick Mentor kind of got Cincinnati football started. And when I moved here, everybody goes, you moved from Texas Tech to the Big 12 and coach at Cincinnati. I said, yeah, let me think about this. Texas Tech never played in the BCS bowl game. Cincinnati's played 2 in the last 4 years. One of the winningest teams in college football in the last 7 years. And so everybody thought I was kind of taking a step down, but really not. Coming to a place that I'm excited about, with a chance to win and have an opportunity to win a lot of games. Look like we're getting ready to move to a new conference soon. Right now we're still in the Big East. They're going to change the name. I don't know what that's going to be, but we're excited about being part of that. But football is football, and I just enjoy it. I coached high school for 4 years. Then I moved into college ranks and was a graduate assistant, worked my way up from assistant to coordinator to head coach, and I'm pretty proud of that. I came from a small school. I went to a school smaller than most of the schools around here. I think there were 60 in my graduating class. We only had football for about 4 years. I thought I was going to work in the paper mill for a living when I got out of school. One day, about 4 or 5 months before school was out, I said, Dad, I'm looking forward to getting a job in the paper mill, making $14, $15 an hour like everybody else that graduated from Army Grove Camden High School in Arkansas. That's what everybody does. You're not doing that. You're going to college. And I was fortunate. He was pretty strict on that. So I ended up going to college. The only one in my high school class that went to college, graduated, and I kind of persevered over the years of wanting to be successful. My goal was to be a college head coach by the time I was 40 years old. And at age 39, I became the head coach at Ole Miss, University of Mississippi, back in look at all the people in our business in college football, you would think, you know, most of the guys that are head football coaches were All-Americans in college and had these big pedigrees. Well, really not. You know, most of the successful guys in college football tried to play college football like me. I wasn't very good. I tried, I played, I worked at it hard. I was a member of the team. I lettered, I did some of those things, but I wasn't very good. Nick Saban, he only played 1 year of college football at Kent State, I think is where he went to school. Brian Kelly played very little college football. If you just look at all the guys that are major college football coaches, it's guys that just wanted to do something to have success, and they were hungry for that. So I tell a lot of the guys that coach on our team, every day I talk to them about being self-responsible for what they do. You know, this is a fun sport. I was reading an article yesterday. You know, there's 2.5 million Pop Warner football players in the United States. There are 2.3 million high school and junior high football players. There's 1.1 million college football players. There's 1,500 pro football players. And so there's a lot of football being played in this country. But one thing I'm most excited about is having a chance to travel all throughout this, not just this country, but over in Europe and Iraq and Iran, and going to see the troops. The one thing that I notice about sports, and the main thing about football, it teaches self-responsibility. And I've seen a lot of guys grow up in this business that have made something out of themselves because of football. Now, football's a tough sport. I mean, we're getting hit sideways from the front, from the back, from the media, from a lot of groups about it's too physical. We have concussions. You know, we've had too many injuries. You know, there's more injuries in soccer in college than there is in college football every year. I mean, there's more injuries. Then we're going to have injuries. When you have a sport and you have contact, you're going to have injuries. And so right now we're fighting a lot of those things from the media of trying to say, hey, we don't need this sport. You know, we don't need to do that. You know, I saw one guy say, you know, the parents, you know, even our president said, I don't know whether I'd let him, if I had a son, whether he could play football or not. It doesn't make sense because football is a sport where you have contact. You're going to have injuries, but you have injuries in skateboarders, kids riding bicycles, all those things. It's something that is created because you do have contact. It is a team sport, but it's something that you get something out of. You know, I can look back over my career. Two guys I'm going to point out to you that I coached personally. I recruited a kid in 1987 from Chicago. At the end of the year, we just won the national championship at the University of Miami. Jimmy Johnson, head coach, says, guys, we're finished recruiting. We've got one scholarship left. Do we have a guy that anybody would recommend? Actually, I had recruited a kid, but I wasn't a D-line coach or a defensive line coach. Stands up and said, Coach, I've got a kid in Chicago that I think would fit in good with this group. And then we had just had a great recruiting class. And Jimmy Johnson, you know, won Super Bowls, national championships. He's on Fox News, sports every Sunday. He's one of these guys, though, when you work for him, if you're going to make a decision, step up, make a decision, but you better be right. I mean, he's liable to run you off. He's liable to fire you. Well, we recruited this young man, sight unseen. Basically, normally when you recruit guys, you bring them all into campus. Well, we hadn't seen this kid. Well, he comes to campus the next year, and we parade all of our first day of practice, all these freshmen out. All these freshmen that look like, you know, thoroughbreds. Man, they're big, strong, good-looking guys. You can tell they were fast, except for one guy. It was this one kid that was 6 foot 1 inch, 350 pounds. He looked like a beanbag. I mean, he was more round than he was tall. I felt sorry for him. I really did. I'm thinking, we bring this kid in. He has no clue what he's getting into. He has no chance for success. But I'm going to tell you, from the first day that I met that kid on campus in terms of wanting to play football, he did more work than most of the guys combined before practice, during practice, and after practice. He had no business playing college football. Jimmy Johnson even, he liked him, he made a little bit of a fun of him sometimes just because of, how he looked compared to other guys, but he took it pretty good. Jimmy Johnson went to the Dallas Cowboys 2 years later, he took this young man, the first pick in the draft for the Dallas Cowboys. His name was Russell Maryland. And I said from that time on, I see a lot of kids come play for us at Cincinnati, when I was Cincinnati, Texas Tech, or at Auburn. They come in and they don't think they can do it, or they don't think they have the work ethic to get it done. But I've seen it time and time again. A lot of you young guys out there, if you want to do something, you can do it. All you've got to do is have the work ethic and the self-responsibility and the will to make yourself and push every day. Russell Maryland made it. Russell Maryland probably made $100 million. He just went into the College Football Hall of Fame. I mean, here's a kid that looked like a beanbag. And nowadays you can look at him, you'd never think, just looking at him, that he would have played that well. But he wanted it. He had the will and the drive to get it done. I had another guy that I personally recruited in 1990. I went and looked at him, and I brought him back. Dennis Erickson was the head coach. I said, Coach, I think he can play linebacker. What's he play? He plays quarterback. And he said, well, I said, he plays a little bit of safety, but I know the head coach, he likes it. He's 6 foot, about a half inch, maybe about 210 pounds. And so he comes in, we sign him, we're the only one offering the scholarship. He had the it factor, is what I call it. You couldn't tell him he couldn't do it. I mean, the first day he come in, I had 3 guys that were going to make All-American at linebacker that I personally coached. He played linebacker for us. And I said, stand up and give your name. He stood up and said, my name's Ray Lewis. I'm from Lakeland, Florida, and I'll be the best linebacker to ever play here. Our guys turned around and looked at him. It was Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis might have been the best linebacker to ever play. Here's a kid that played linebacker, played very little defense, but he had the will to do it. He wanted out. He didn't have a father. He didn't have a mother. He had a grandmother that was old, that tried to raise him. Basically, his high school coach raised him. Over 2/3 of the players on my football team today, and on every football team in this country, and I'm ashamed to say this, and we as Americans should be ashamed to say this, 2/3 of the players on my team today, and all the coaches, all the football teams, and all the basketball teams have one or no parents. I mean, that's really a shame. And you know, you live in a community that's a little bit different. You get out of this community and you go to the inner cities of Chicago, you go to the inner cities of St. Louis or Dallas. It's really bad. It's really bad. And the one thing that a lot of these kids have, and I'm not talking about just minority kids, I'm talking about white kids. Only thing they have is sports. Only thing they have is something to grab a hold to is, hey, this can get me out of here. Ray Lewis was one of those. You listen to Ray Lewis today, and you can kind of tell he's a little bit cocky, and he was a little bit like that when we first got him. But again, you couldn't tell him he couldn't do it. You couldn't go in and tell him, Ray, you can't work out on weights for the next 3 hours. You can't hold up. Don't tell him he can't do it. He'd stand there and do it. I think that's what we're lacking today in a lot of kids. And then, I'm not telling all you kids out here today to go out there and just try to run over somebody or do something abnormal. Work ethic. Be self-responsible. You know, when I recruit guys at the University of Cincinnati and all other schools I've been at, the one thing I tell them, most of you have never seen the sun come up. Most of them haven't. You know, my two kids, Troy and Tucker, I mean, the only time they ever seen it come up was when we went hunting or fishing, got up early and did something, or had to catch a flight. You play for me or you play for most colleges across the country, you're going to get up, you're going to see the sun come up every day while you're in college. I mean, because we do things early in the day. You know, we practice, like I said, we practice in the morning. You know, every one of our guys get up at 5:30. And we get up early, and we get our work done, and we go to school. It teaches you self-responsibility. And that's, again, one thing about athletics, and again, I've been a proponent of all sports all my life. Anything that you can do, because it's organized. The one thing that you do is you have an opportunity to work with other guys or girls on your team. You learn how to play together. You can have all the athletes you want in the world. And I tell, and we're building this team at Cincinnati as we speak, and every day I tell them, we can be a great offense, we can be a great defense, we can be a great kicking game. We can have a good offensive line, we can have a great offensive line, we can have good linebackers, but it doesn't make any difference if we don't play together. Football, basketball is a true team sport. Football especially, you can take, and I tell people this, you can take Michael Jordan, okay, and any four of us in here, and you go play some basketball games, you can win some basketball games, but Michael Jordan can win them on his own. I mean, that's bottom line. In football, you take Peyton Manning and put any 10 of us on his team, he couldn't win. That's what I like about football. Everybody's got to pull their weight. Everybody's got to do what it takes to win. Everybody's got to do the extra. Everybody's got to do things when the lights are not on and nobody's around. Everybody's got to be working. That's what I love about football. You've got to be doing extra things. Now, you can be average, and sometimes that might be what a lot of people like to do. They like to just get by and be part of the team. I don't like that. I like to win. I think in this country, we all like to win games. We all like to be part of it. We all like to have success. And I see all these young guys out here today, and you can be successful, but you can only be successful if you do yours and you help other people. It's called leadership. You know, that's the reason our country right now is not the best shape in this world, because our leaders over the years have let us down a little bit. Because again, we need everybody. But leadership is what makes a program. You know, you can have coaches. You know, myself, and we have coaches in here that work very hard to make all of you young guys better. They can't do it. They can't do it. I mean, it takes all of you guys, young guys, in there to push yourself to make yourself better. Again, it goes back to one thing I tell our guys every day: 2 words, self-responsibility. Be what you are, make yourself better, and push yourself every day, but also let that go over to the other guys. Let them see what you're doing. Help them. Help others. Help the offensive lineman. Go out there if you're a quarterback and work with the offensive line. Go out there with the defensive players if you're a wide receiver and make them better. Thank you. But again, it all goes back to teamwork and self-responsibility. The thing I like most about being at Cincinnati for the last few months is, I tell our players, I don't know where it came from, and you don't coach it. You know, we're not as talented as Alabama or USC. We do have some talent. I've talked to our coaches about this, and again, I've been a lot of different places. The one thing I like about our football team is the attitude and their will to make themselves better. I mean, they want to be good. You don't teach that. I mean, that comes from high schools. That comes from junior highs. It comes from the high school coaches. As a college coach, we kind of represent what high school coaches do. We only have them a short period of time. And so I'm a big proponent to high school coaching, high school football teams, the junior highs, the programs and what they do and how they do it, because they make what we do better. We as college coaches make what the pros do. You know, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to be a pro head coach. Marvin Lewis will tell you that. I was at opening day with him over in Cincinnati the other day. We were talking about his football team, and you were talking about the difference in pro and college. He said that, you know, that I just kind of drive the bus. It's whoever has the best players in pro football is going to win. You got to get them in the right direction. You got to get them going in the right direction, but it's not anything like, you know, high school. You know, the high school and the junior high when I was growing up, that guys, I'm gonna tell you, this is the most fun time of your life. You don't have any responsibility other than yourself getting up and going to class and academics. I mean, that's all you have. Okay, you don't have to go out and pay taxes. You will soon, and unfortunately, yours are going to be a lot higher than ours have been over the past few years. But you're not married. You don't have things that you're responsible for. So enjoy this time and enjoy what you're doing. I'm a big proponent again of the academic part. I think that it goes hand in hand. I've seen players, high school and junior high kids that come to our camps over the year and they want to play college football, but they have no clue about doing it all right, about doing things in the classroom right, about having manners, about having morals, all those. They think that just being a good athlete is going to make them a success. And I've seen so many. You know, I talked about Ray Lewis a while ago, and I talked about Russell Maryland. I could stand up here and go on and on about the ones that I've seen come in that I thought, hey, this guy is going to do it. He's going to get it done. He's going to be the best that we've ever seen. And they don't succeed because they don't have the it factor, what I talked about earlier, the will to do things when the lights are not on, when they're away from everybody else. All they want to do is have fun, sleep late, and don't do the things that are necessary to be a success. You don't start working at being a success when you're in college. You do it at the younger ages, you guys' ages. The high school group, you learn from the people around you, but you learn from your high school coaches. And that's the reason I've told everybody this. High school coaches, to me, are the most important people in the world. Now, I'm a proponent of algebra class and English and all those things, and we all have to have that. But I would hate to see this country, and right now we are having tough times, in the economy, and we have problems. I would hate to see this country without athletics, especially football. I've had the chance over the last few years to travel, as I said earlier, with 4 or 5 other coaches to Iraq, to Afghanistan, to Africa. I've gone to hospitals all over Germany where our troops that have gotten shot in Iraq and Afghanistan go. I've seen guys with no arms, no legs, guys that can't see anymore. You don't think they wouldn't want another opportunity? But if you want a realization of life, I mean, that really opened my eyes. My dad was a World War II vet. He died on active duty. And I kind of grew up a military guy. And so I'm a big proponent of the Army. But to me, what we have now in our schools is just a carryover in athletics from what our military has done over the years. It gives us again that self-responsibility and an opportunity to have some success from what they did, but also the ideas of discipline, the discipline of what came from our military into our athletics through this country. And again, if you don't think we don't live in the best country in this world, go over there and look at what we've seen. It will open your eyes. And again, with all the problems we're having with Democrats against Republicans, with the economy up, with the going down, with everything, all the problems we have, we by far live in the best country in this world. We have it made compared to a lot of other people. So I'm up here today telling you that I'm glad all these young guys are out here. I'm glad the coaches brought them. I'm excited about being here in Dearborn County as a resident here in a couple of weeks. I look forward to spending a little bit of time in Hidden Valley. I do a lot of traveling. That's one thing that I don't relish in my older years of coaching is all the travel that goes with it. But I do like time spending with all the young people that I'm around, especially in the summers, all the camps. We have camps that will start in June. All you young guys, you're welcome to come. We'll have about 4,000 junior high and high school guys in camp. Again, we have a walk-on program at University of Cincinnati. That walk-on program means that you're not on scholarship. We like guys to come out. If you want to play college football and we think you have the opportunity maybe to help or be a part of it, we'd love for you to come try walking on. I think it's a great deal. That's what I did. I got my head busted in many times in 4 years. There was times when I'd go back to my dorm room going, what in the world am I doing here? But it helped. It helped me get to the place that I am today in terms of being a coach. I don't think I could ever been a head coach in college had I not been a guy that played college football. At least given it an opportunity to learn what you go through and what you don't go through and what it takes to be a college football player. But we do have our camps this summer. We'd love for you to come over. Again, we have our scrimmage this weekend, like I said, at 10:30 on campus. You have an opportunity to come over. We have some very good games next year. We open up at Purdue at home. I think that'll be a very good game. If you don't have anything to do and if you don't have a team to follow, we'd love for you to come over and watch and kind of be a part of it. We're going to expand our stadium. We're putting almost $100 million in a Nipper Stadium. I think that's going to be a huge lift for the area, not just for Cincinnati. I think it's going to be something that will bring in a lot of different people, a lot more money through the economy, and so we're excited about that. But I'm just excited about being part of Cincinnati football, this area. Looking forward. I'm a big turkey hunter, so those of you that don't hunt turkeys and you got turkeys back out in some of your fields, give me your phone number. I'll call you when I leave here. my daddy-in-law lives, I think it's called Vivi, outside of town. He's got several up there. I'm looking forward to going up there and hunting and fishing with him. But I'm really looking forward to coming next year and watching high school football in this area because, as I said earlier, one of my sons plays, and I'll try to make as many as I possibly can. Any questions anybody's got about what's going on or what we need to do? Anybody got any answers for me? I always look for answers, not questions. I see some guys in there I've known for a long time, so they don't need to ask any questions. They know more about me than I need to know. Yes, sir. I can't hear you. Urban Meyer. I've known Urban a long time. Urban's a young guy in our business. Has kind of worked his way up. He's done very well. When I was at Auburn, we played him 3 times, and I'm one of the few coaches that's undefeated against Urban. I'm 3-0 against him, and that's going to be tested year after this one because we go to the Horseshoe and play Ohio State in a couple of years. And I'm sure he's tired of hearing me say that because it always gets back to him that he hasn't beat me. And I beat him the year he won the national championship at Florida. We was the only team that beat him, and then we beat him when Tim Tebow was a senior. So Urban's a good coach. He's a guy that's going to give us a lot of problems in recruiting. Of course, you know how Ohio State is a team that's well known, and we're going to fight them tooth and nail with players from this area, and hopefully we can keep as many as we possibly can home. Any other questions? Come on, I know you got questions. You're going to ask me questions before I leave here. So. Yes.
How are they going to maintain the integrity of Nipper?
You know, Nipper Stadium is very unusual.
Yeah.
And actually I coached here in 1986, my first year at the University of Miami. We came and played here. We were the #1 team in the nation most of the year, and we lost in the national championship game. We played Nipper Stadium, and it's different. You drive on campus, and it's kind of nestled in between all the buildings. Holds around 40,000. What we're going to do is we're going to add a deck to the press box side. The press box will completely come down. We'll add a press box along with somewhere around 20 sky boxes, or maybe more than that. It's going to be an engineering feat to get that done because all the buildings are so close. Everything's kind of surrounds what we have. And to do construction like that, it's going to have somebody that knows a lot more about it than I do in terms of coming in and getting that done without tearing everything up around it. But we'll start next year, right after the last home game, and hopefully we can get it done in a year. If not, we'll probably play our home games in Paul Brown Stadium for the year that they don't have it finished. But hopefully they can get it done in that short period of time. Any other questions? Yes, sir. You know, we've got a pretty good team. That, as I said earlier, the big thing for me as a head coach is learning their names, what they're majoring in, where they're from. I don't actually coach a position. I walk around and I watch them, and I've been really impressed with their desire to have a good team. Sometimes I've been places where some guys are just hey, let's just get through this and go on. But a majority of our players are fired up about the season, and we need a little bit more speed. Now we're putting in a pro style passing attack. I like the spread. I'm not a spread coach. Spread, for those that don't want to know much about it, is over the last 4, 5, 6 years, some of these teams have put these offenses in where they spread people out, the quarterback runs the ball some, you throw it some. I'm more of an old school type. We're going to have a tailback. We're going to have a physical offensive line. We're going to try to run the ball. Our quarterback is a senior. We lost our tailback. Most of our offensive line's back. And defensively is where I'm a little bit concerned because we lost about 6 starters. But we do have some speed there. That's what I've coached all my life, so I've spent more time over there. But I think we'll be fine. It just, the big thing is just try to stay away from injuries. Any other questions?
What was your toughest adjustment coming to Texas Tech this season?
Toughest adjustment?
Yeah.
Is weather. Actually, a lot of people say, you go up there where it's cold. Let me tell you something. Lubbock, Texas was 4,000 feet up. Again, 5 million acres of cotton. No trees. Wind blows all the time, very cold. Now, one day it might be 20 degrees with the wind blowing 50 miles an hour, but the next day it might be 70 and beautiful. I think that's my biggest adjustment is just getting back to an area that's has trees and you have your 4 seasons and the cold. And we do have an indoor workout area, which has helped. But and then other big adjustment for a head coach, and again, this is my 3rd time to do this, or 4th time, is when you come in, you have like 50 or 60 people. Unfortunately, you're going to bring most of your people. So you come in and you interview people and you let people go, because if you're going to run a business, you're going to have people that know what you know and you know more about them. And so it usually takes 6 months to get everybody moved. You got to remember now, excuse me, it's not just me. It's my family. It's 20 other families, and then it's their kids and their wives. And they're selling homes and they're buying homes, and then you're moving. And I mean, it's not really conducive to getting off the ground at a fast pace. But I've got a good young staff, and they've done a good job. You have to have a different type of family and a wife to go through this, because you're never around much, and they have to they have to sell a house, and then they come in, they have to buy a house, because you're not there going to buy one. Your wife doesn't like it. So you want to keep them all in the same temperament. But it's pretty difficult being a head. Everybody thinks it's fun being a head coach. I really truly enjoyed coaching more than I do being a head coach. Head coach is more of a guy that goes, speaks, and raises money and recruits and deals with problems. You know, right now all of my guys are back there in the office. What I like to do, we finish practice, you go take a shower, you go up, then you watch the film, and you watch every play, and you grade it, and you look at things where you need to make adjustments and all those things. I miss that part. I really do. But I've got a good staff, and we've just about settled down now. If this dang weather would just ease up just a little bit. I was told when I got here it never got cold here, and so and we didn't get snow, but supposedly last year was pretty good. But I think we're paying for it this year. It looks like we're kind of turning the corner. I noticed on the golf course out here, the grass has turned a little bit green. Any other questions about what we're doing, not doing? All right, all you football players, I appreciate you coming. Again, persevere, work hard, do things right, on and off the field, and it'll pay off for you. Be a good citizen. Do all the things that your coach would love you to do. And I know it's a fun time in your life, but this will be a time that you'll always remember, going to high school with all your buddies, because when it's over, and you don't get to do it again. And if there's anything that most of us older folks in here would love to do, we'd love to go back to those days where we're sitting in your seat. And I know you're sitting there going, this guy's crazy, man. I'll be glad to get out there and get me a job. Well, you'll get one, but you'll have one then for 60 years. And there's no end to that one. And the government's going to want their money. They're going to want their paycheck. You're going to have kids, you're going to have problems and all those things. So enjoy life, enjoy what you're doing. Again, I hope to see everybody around Lawrenceburg or Greendale or Dearborn County in the next few years. I'm going to be here for a while. I'm looking forward to being on the lake a little this summer. Hopefully I'll run into you. But again, if you ever have an opportunity to come to a football game, come to campus. I think you'll be impressed. I've been very impressed with the people and things that are going on, the building, the improvements. So I'm excited about that. So thanks for the invitation to come here. Again, I hope to see all of you again. So you're like family. So I'm not leaving. I'm not getting up and leaving like most places I do it. Don't ever come back. I'll be back here quite a bit. So looking forward to meeting most of you. Good luck. Thank you.
1, 2,